Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ybot, and, well, welcome to Civilization Beyond Earth Rising Tide, which, for the rest of this video, we'll refer to it as Rising Tide, because that name is too damn long. So, anyway, this particular video is just something I got inspired by just yesterday, basically. It's like, looking at the list of, personality traits in the, in the opening section of the game, and then once you get into it, realizing that those traits are actually upgradable. So this video is just, I'd say it's a nice quick video, but really it's not. It's actually almost 20 minutes long, because there's a decent amount of civilizations. But anyway, here, we're taking a look at the personality traits here. So we're starting off, we're going from basically A to Z, so my god, I can barely see that in the recording software here. So anyway, Alpha Law's trait, they start off with, basically they get a lot more than normal in terms of their, when they dedicate production to a certain project, like growth or science and stuff like that. And it goes, on the main screen, I think it says, like, instead of being like 25%, instead it's like 100% or something. But then it eventually goes up to 200%, I believe. I will check into that. I will probably put some annotations into this video here to verify, because I'm having trouble reading the damn thing. Because Windows Movie Maker kind of sucks. So, sorry guys, I'm too poor to afford better editing software at this time. So, yeah, text is a bit blurry here, but I will do my best. Basically, the point I'm trying to make with this video is that the traits that the people have, those traits that you see at the start, are not necessarily what you're going to see the entire game now. And also, I found it very interesting with this, the option to scan the coastal terrain, that actually might be a bit more useful now in Rising Tide, because you don't get an introduction now when someone else lands. You actually have to go and meet them. And the reason for that is the new diplomacy system, which the personality systems put into as well, regarding diplomatic capital. So let's take a look at the next one here. So one lower affinity level or one lower intrigue level to perform covert actions, and then eventually her speed goes up to 50% faster is what it looked like there. So anyway, guys, my apologies. I'm blowing through this. I'm blitzing through this like there's no tomorrow. And Pan-Asian PAC, we'll just call them PAC. Pan-Asian Cooperative, I believe is what they're called. But anyway, these ones, I have played them recently, so I know what they actually have in terms of their ability. They get one free wonder in the first city they settle, which sounds on paper like it's ridiculous. And they get +1 diplomatic capital. So the rest of it, the Thousand Hands upgradables there, it's kind of neutered, honestly, compared to a lot of the other traits. You only get +2 diplomatic capital per wonder, and then +3 diplomatic capital per wonder. So very strong initially, and then not as strong later on. And then next up we've got Duncan Hughes here in Deep Castle. And his trait revolves around the combat strength and the speed of moving around your cities there. So we'll take a look at that in a moment, and we'll see once again if I can read the bloody thing. So yeah, we'll see if that'll happen. Alright, so yeah, 50% increased move speed, and then eventually it goes up to a maximum of 75%, and it looks like 75% combat strength, and 75% less resources required to move your cities. That's what it looks like to me. Once again, I'll probably have some annotations in here if I'm wrong, because I'm very sorry, guys. I'm trying to read this off of the editing screen here, and it's kind of crap. But I believe that's what it was. And then next up, we have Elodie here. And Elodie, not nearly as powerful as some of them. Like Duncan's, it's pretty damn good, because moving cities is how you get your stuff. I thought I just exited out there, but no, I'm just choosing text. Duncans, you move the cities to get new territory, and also coastal or aquatic cities, rather, are really low on HP, so that's very helpful for him. And it takes a lot of resources to move the damn things as well, so he can move them quickly and gobble up a lot of territory quickly. Elodie, on the other hand, she gets a free virtue whenever she gets a certain number of virtues, and my god, I went through that quickly. So basically, it's one free virtue every 10 virtues, then it goes down to 9 virtues, and then it goes down to 8 at maximum upgrades. And next up, we've got Kozlov, and my apologies, folks. This is, once again, after the fact. I'm falling a little behind here, but Kozlov, his one centers around getting free resources. As you can see on the top of the screen there, we've got like 4 petroleum, 4 geothermal, and 4 titanium already. And you get an additional 2 of those resources when you get to the second one. And for the maximum there... Oh, also the base personality trait is it reduces the cost of the satellites by 1 of those resources and gives you extra free resources. Level 2 gives you 2 more of those respective resources, and number 3 reduces it by 2. So instead of just costing 1 less resource, it now costs 2 less resources, which in certain cases might actually make it cost 0 resources. So that's interesting. I've always thought Kozlov is underpowered, but there's some possibilities there. Because satellites are quite helpful. So you could potentially have a lot more like bombardment satellites or teleporter satellites or any other satellites that are very useful. I think there's one that actually like attracts aliens to a certain area. And then next up we've got Changsu here, which takes forever for him to move his cities. He starts on the water just like the NAC. Actually, is it the NAC? It's the same acronym as the frickin' other, as the U.S. government's thing. North Sea Alliance, NSA, that's the one. Oh, and also right here, we're just taking a quick look at the black market, which is where you can trade diplomatic capital now, since you can no longer trade, you can no longer in the diplomacy system use the trade energy for resources like you can in Civ 5 and Vanilla Beyond Earth. Now, Changsu, what he has is baseline, he gets 10 energy per, or 10 science rather, per successful agent action per the agent's level. So that means if it's a special agent, you'll get 30 science, and next one he gets 15, and then top one he gets 30. So you can get a potential maximum of 90 science per successful agent action, and that does not reflect the difficulty necessarily. So you can just do steal credits the entire game, and if you've got special agents out there, then you get the science for that. And also, of course, you do get the extra agent, so that means you can get more science. I think I'm actually going to play with him as my next Let's Play one, because he seems pretty damn interesting. So, anyway here, apparently I am not editing out this part. So, next up we have the man, the pain in the ass, Hatuma. And Hatuma is a little bit ridiculous in this one. He's one of the ones that's kind of ridiculous because he starts out with 2 free trade routes in the capital, and then 1 additional free trade route in his other cities. But then it gets upgraded. Now, you still need your trade depots in the other cities, I believe, to actually get the trade started. But it gets pretty damn ridiculous because I think he eventually gets to a maximum of... Let me see here. I'll have to take a look at it. But it goes up by 1 or 2 for the capital. And then it goes up again by 1 for the city. So he gets 2 free trade routes in every city. And my apologies here, folks. Apparently I did not edit this out. I will do that just a sec. Alright, there we go. I've gotten rid of the loading screen there. I did that for every other video. I guess I just missed it on that one. But my apologies, folks. So let's take a look at Hatuma. Like I said, he gets free trade routes, and he tends to get a bunch of free trade routes. The only drawback is that in the one game that I was playing with him, I ran into problems finding trading partners, and also the trade routes don't give quite as much as they used to. They tend to just create resources instead. So anyway, let's take a look here. 2 free trade routes from the capital and 1 free trade route everywhere else. Then 3 free trade routes from the capital and 1 free trade route everywhere else. Then we have a maximum of 3 trade routes from the capital and 2 free trade routes from everywhere else. Every other city, rather. So that is a total of 4 free trade routes in the capital and 3 free trade routes in every other city. So the more cities you have, of course, the more trade routes you have, it multiplies fairly exponentially. And Hatuma can be quite powerful that way. So probably one of the more powerful civilizations there. I'm not sure who else is powerful, quite frankly. This one right here, the... oh my goodness. Kanima, whatever her name is. This is pretty good as well, because I think it eventually goes down... Yeah, indeed, it eventually goes down to culture and energy costs for expanding your borders is half as much as it normally is for everybody else. So that means you get to expand your borders rapidly. That's pretty good. So that's at the maximum. Now we're on to Integer. We'll take a look at Integer's personality traits here. Eventually. So they have a bonus for diplomatic capital that you can see in the beginning screen there. And we're going to pop into her personality traits and take a look at her unique trait and how it can be upgraded here. So eventually you can you get your agreements for cheaper, and you get purchases with diplomatic capital for cheaper. Now you can upgrade that to a maximum of, I believe it's 70 or 75. It looks like 75% less cost for agreements. So it costs you 75% less diplomatic capital and 75% less to purchase units and structures with diplomatic capital. I don't believe that goes into the black market, but that is a pretty big bonus there, because diplomatic capital is a brand new currency. So it's pretty important. It means you can buy soldiers with it, quite frankly, if you want to. So that's handy. That's a good advantage. And next up, we have Space Attila here. Brasilia. And we will see if I actually edited this properly. Looks like I missed it on Space Attila again here. So anyway, we're going to have Brasilia land here and get Citadel all set up. Now, their bonus now is, instead of combat strength, they get bonuses to their war score. So basically, you can start shit with people, and eventually you get a percentage bonus based on how you fared in the war. So it's called Guerrilla Mastery. It starts out as 30%, and then you gain diplomatic capital per unit killed. It starts at 1 diplomatic capital per unit killed. It goes up to 3, and then it starts at, I think it's 30% more war score in a war. So even if you didn't do quite as well, you might still get people to surrender cities to you. And then that goes up to a maximum of 50%, and then also you get 3 diplomatic capital per unit killed. So diplomatic capital is a currency, pretty damn useful. And it kind of reminds me of Monty a little bit, Montezuma. So now, let's take a look at the Africans here. So this is... They no longer get the Old Earth Relic for free, so that's very important to point out here. Now, they get 10% growth when they're happy. Then it goes up to 15% growth when they're happy. Oh yes, and specialists yield an additional yield. And... yeah, I believe that's the second one here. And then finally it goes up to 30% growth when you're happy, and specialists yield an additional 2 units for whatever they're doing. So if it's an energy specialist, 2 additional energy. If it's a growth specialist, 2 additional food. If it's a science specialist, 2 additional science. So these guys... Like, one of my complaints about this game is that there's been a lack of a clearly tall civilization, and these guys might be it now. But I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure because I think that well, basically it just means that it's easier to grow big cities. And finally here, just to finish things off, I'm going to, just for shits and giggles, I am going to show you guys what a start is like if you're playing against the Apollo AI. And the way I've done that is I've got a couple of guys allied with me here, and I also had to set it so that it does not stagger the starts. So I tried this once before where it did stagger the starts, and I was like, where's my allies? They weren't there yet. Their start was later on, so I just go through this particular turn here and just do my normal stuff, get my first building set up. Because I'm Chung Su, I'm getting my agent that I've already got set up. I'm peeking into the black market because, hey, black market, that's new and interesting. Well, once again, not really, but to me it is, because I've been playing mostly Civ 5, because I'm more invested in it for some reason. So anyway, the AI partners I set up here are going to be Alflaw, and they're going to be the NSA. And I just wanted to show you guys the starts that the AI gets on Apollo, which is equivalent to Deity in Civ 5, just because I find that to be very interesting, the fact that they get so much stuff. They get 2 explorers, 3 soldiers, 2 workers, and an additional colonist. They get progressively less of this when you go down in Deity, or when you go down in difficulty, rather. And also, if you are going up in difficulty, they slowly get more. Now, they also get a lot of other bonuses, but anyway, just wanted to show you this as well as the unique traits of the civilizations. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.